No, I'm not an Ikea shopper. No, I just don't like the whole kind of madness of going there. No, not at all.
Welcome back to London Vegans on YouTube. My name is Phil. I'm delighted to actually welcome somebody, a very good friend of ours, who we haven't spoken to for a while. It has been, well, a few months. I think it was the beginning of lockdown. It's Steph from Ethica Magazine. How are you, Steph?
Hi, I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, we haven't spoken for a while, and we're still in lockdown, aren't we?
It's been 4.5 months, I think, since the start of lockdown, but I think we spoke at the beginning of it, didn't we? A couple of weeks after.
Yeah, I think lockdown started around the end of March, kind of mid-end of March, I think. So, yeah, it's almost a good 4 months or so, yeah.
How are you doing? You look well.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I think lockdown hasn't been too difficult for me in a way, but I think it's just because I've been working kind of from a home office quite a long time, so I've kind of been used to being quite isolated in a way.
I kind of like it in a way. I wouldn't want it permanently, but I quite like just being able to get on with things.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I think I've enjoyed the slower pace. I've enjoyed the slower pace, but I have socialized a couple of times now. I have been to 2 pubs, and that has been nice. You know, I mean, it was very civilized. There was no madness, no people getting drunk or doing, so I kind of enjoyed that, and it felt all so new. I kind of forgot what it was like.
I don't think I've been to a pub yet, because we've got a pub just by us called the Gregorian in Bermondsey, which I love. It's our regular, not that we go there all the time, or usually go there all the time, but I don't think that's open yet, but certain pubs are. In fact, I might be wrong, because most pubs are open. Is that right? I'm so out of the loop, I feel like I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah, I think so. I think some might have decided not to open, or maybe just do takeaways, or but I definitely have noticed around me, I live in Islington, that quite a lot of them are open. And the ones I've been to are quite local, because one's in Highbury, the other one in Hackney. And everything was very civilized. They give you a table, they do table service. There's a lot of, space between tables, so you're not close to anyone. So my experience has been positive, but I've only just really been because I avoided going for the first 2 weeks. I didn't want to face the madness of drunken people at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
See, I love that. I love the fact that it's a bit more civilised now. It's like all these reports of the festivals that are changing, the outdoor festivals, and you see people sat at tables away from each other and being waited on. That's the sort of festival I want to go to. I don't want to be pushed and shoved, beer thrown over me.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, then I suggest you go to Primavera in Barcelona, because that's quite civilized. There's no camping or anything like that. So you clean every day because you stay in your apartment and then you go to the festival.
Nice. I love Barcelona as well. That's a win-win.
Yeah, I did that a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and we did a week in Barcelona, and then we did Primavera for 3 days, and then we were tourists in Barcelona. It was great.
We've got so much to talk about today. I just know that we're going to be talking for ages, and I say bring it on, because we're talking about meatballs, talking about food. I love talking about food. This story about Ikea, which is launching vegan meatballs, about time too, because it's a popular dish. Well, the meat version is a popular dish already. And I just think it's great for so many reasons. But this is the 1st of August, I think they're launching these.
I think it's the 3rd. I think it's the 3rd, yes.
Are you an Ikea goer? Because we shop at Ikea occasionally. We've got one not far from us in Greenwich, which opened a couple of years ago, I think. I
haven't been for about 15 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't been for a long time, yeah. No, I'm not an Ikea shopper. No, I just don't like the whole kind of madness of going there. No, not at all.
Yeah, that's definitely stressful for me when you have to follow the arrows around the store. I just want to keep going back. Yeah, because it's still punking me. I just want to go back in the other direction, just deliberately.
Just create a bit of chaos. Yeah, so obviously I've never had the meatballs because I haven't eaten meat since I was 13. But I have loads of friends who just go to Ikea for the meatballs.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently they're very good. So, well, it's great. They've created a plant-based version of them, and they're going to be served again with mash. And I think is it legumeberry jus, or I'm not sure if they use.
But I heard a rumor that the gravy that they serve with it is not vegan. So I presume that vegans going to kick off about that, hopefully, because I think, what's the point in doing this if it's not a complete dish? Do you know what I mean? You've got to have the trimmings.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, vegan gravy is so easy. Like, so if you've gone to the trouble to make, vegan meatballs, then you may as well do vegan gravy, because that's going to be a little bit tricky for people otherwise. I didn't know about that. What I read was, it's going to be served with mashed potatoes, and I think it's legumeberry sauce.
Nice.
So yeah, and that's from the 3rd. So I think it's great. I think it's really good. It's really good that we're seeing more and more brands really, pushing the vegan agenda. I mean, of course, they do it for profit, but nonetheless, whatever the reason is, they're giving that option. I think, if they start selling a good number of vegan options, who knows? Maybe the sort of meat option, they're going to sell fewer of the meat ones. Who knows?
Absolutely, because I think that people, if they like the taste of them and they have them maybe just as a trial thing, and if you're going, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, I'll try out the vegan meatballs, and they like them, they might, carry on eating those rather than the meat ones. Because I know the vegan meatballs sell more than 1 billion in the UK.
Wow.
In a year. So you just imagine, if the vegan ones take off, this could be, really influential for a lot of people to maybe consider going vegan.
Absolutely, because I think a lot of meat eaters at the moment are trying to have, a day or two where they don't eat meat or fish so I think it's a good start. These people might not become vegan, but if they consume less meat, fewer animals will die, and that's always a good thing.
So apparently these are £1.50, which is such a bargain. That's so
it's
cheap.
Great.
And that's for 8 balls, so that's such a cheap dish.
It is, yeah, and again, that's a very good thing because it makes it affordable to everybody. If you have a meal for £1.50, it's not an easy thing to do to have a meal for £1.50. So it's great. I think a good price point is fantastic because lots of people think that being vegan is expensive, and it really isn't. I mean, I spend a lot less money now than I did when I wasn't vegan.
Yeah, and I suppose if you're making food at home and you're using cheaper ingredients and healthier ingredients, it's not just all about processed food, is it? You've got to consider making food from scratch sometimes as well. It's all about balance, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So I think that will, dispel the notion that vegan food has to be more expensive, because it really doesn't have to be more expensive,
What really annoyed me though was one report that said, bafflingly, they used the word bafflingly, they're trying to recreate the meat texture and taste, which I found so frustrating because so many people still use this term, don't they? They wonder why you're actually making something that tastes like meat and looks like meat, and we all know that we don't mind that because no animals are used in the process and no animals are killed, but it's still people are doing this.
Absolutely. And also it's what I say as well, a cow or a pig does not come in that shape anyway. So you're already being served something that's miles away from what it would really look like, and we are doing exactly the same thing. And it's convenience as well, it's convenience as well. So I think it's a very silly argument. A cow doesn't come in the form of a ball, so nor does Satan, but they both come in the form of a ball. So there you have it.
It's so true. If only people realise the process that went into making their beef burger or their chicken drumsticks. I mean, I suppose chicken drumsticks look a bit more like chicken than something that's more processed, but it's all the same. Everything looks completely different when it arrives on your plate or in a box.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's not like they're trying to recreate an actual full roast chicken, Although I had a friend of mine who once did that for me. She made me a vegan dish and she made it look like a chicken.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know how she used beetroot to kind of give you that sort of bloody thing, which you could have left out as far as I'm concerned.
My friend Vin did that. He did a tofu roast. Was it? No, it was a Wellington. It was like a beef Wellington made with mushrooms, and he put beetroot in it, and it did look, when you cut it, it did look like it was bleeding a little bit. It was delicious. Yeah. It looked quite authentic though.
Yeah.
So these meatballs, are they going to tempt you? Are they going to coax you into the store? Because you're not an Ikea goer.
Let's say that if I were forced to go to Ikea for any reason, yes, I would definitely try them. but I'm probably not going to go all the way to Croydon or Edmonton, I think is the closest one, just to try the meatballs. I'd say that.
I think you'll be able to buy them frozen as well. I think they're £2.50 for a bag. So, you know, I guess if you don't want to eat them in the store and buy a bulk load of meatballs. We're not sponsored by Ikea, by the way. I just have to say, it's not like we're doing an ad.
This is not an ad. Nothing we're talking about. We're not sponsored by anybody today, so nothing we're talking about today is sponsored. I wish it was.
But we've got so much to talk about. We're going to do those on separate videos. You come up with some brilliant topics as well, stuff that's been in the news that I think is really important, not just about food, but about animal welfare. Particularly with puppies, because we know you have a rescue puppy. We'll talk about that on the next video. Yeah. But it's really good to see you, Steph.
You too.
Where can people find you?
Well, people can find me obviously on Ethica Magazine. You can contact me on www.ethicamagazine.com or Twitter at Ethica Magazine or at Steph what am I? Yes.
You're like me. I always have to think about it.
Steph Ottinelli, I think I am. Yeah.
All the London Vegans profiles are all named differently, and I have to think: is it the underscore? Is it not?
I'm exactly the same. I think Ethica Magazine is just Ethica Magazine, but yeah, I should know this about these accounts.
We'll put it all on the screen. We'll put it in the link below as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
See you on the next video. It's good to see you. And don't forget, also, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because we've got loads more videos coming. We're back on it because we've not been doing this for a couple of months because we had a flood, and you know the story. I'm not going to bore you with it again.
I know you've had some bad luck there with your house,
but I'm happy now. We're doing all right, and Teddy's chilling a bit more. He's not barking so much. So yeah, it's a better place.
That's really good.
So yeah, like the video if you've liked it, and we'll see you next time. Good to see you, Steph.